What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Sorry I've been away for a little bit, but I've actually just moved into a new place, as you can probably tell by my surroundings, and I have yeah, haven't been making videos because I haven't had my stuff set up, but I just set everything up now again. So yeah, back at you with another video. Time to talk about some mana. If you guys paid attention to my video that I made prior to the Christmas and like the holiday break there, I talked about 350 being like the main level when we're talking about mana. That was kind of the big price level that we needed to see hold up, and obviously it didn't hold up. So after you had this big move up, you had this level of 350 that was really your kind of support area after it broke out above that. So you had this huge move from $1 all the way to like 450, and then it came back down and it found support around 350. It broke that for a minute, but then it really kind of it found support around the 350 mark, and between 350 and 320. So those became your really big support levels you needed to see hold up. And obviously over the past month, we saw those levels break, and then once they did break, you saw this basically this crash all the way back down to it was like 215 or something like that. But now, as you can tell, we've rallied from that and came all the way back towards $3, because a lot of times what happens is that once it can't find support, it'll try and kind of come back to those numbers, even though it wasn't able to hold 350. Once it broke down and it was able to find some support, it's gonna bounce back towards those same levels that people were kind of wanting to keep it towards. Which what was happening back in kind of the fall was it was keeping in line with that 350 being the support level, and then it just kind of wanted to bounce up, and every time it would come back down to those levels, you were having massive buying pressure. But what you're seeing now is kind of a reversal, and maybe a reverse back to 350, but then I wouldn't recommend holding it if it can't hold 350. So right now we're kind of in that area of consolidation and kind of recuperating those support levels. And so right now you can see $3 is acting as resistance. It was able to break out almost to that 310, maybe 315 level, which was the overall kind of support level when we were talking about where it came back down to way back, which is why now that's acting as resistance. So this is kind of you know, the problem with Mana's chart here is that it looks kind of precarious in terms of this being a head and shoulders pattern, in terms of if this isn't able to hold up and then kind of push back to new highs, we could see this back down to $2 again very quickly. Which is why Mana is one of those ones that I always said that you need to be kind of aware of the way it moves. It moves very quickly, and it has a lot of upside potential, but it's not really understood the value of the actual crypto at the time, because the metaverse is such a new kind of idea that a lot of people don't understand it. So this is why I think you're going to see a lot of problems with Mana and a lot of issues with the kind of people not believing or not understanding the metaverse. So you're not kind of having this massive institutional investing into it. Although when you go down and you start to look at the overall space, you're having massive companies like Samsung, like these luxury marketplaces starting to build a lot of these marketplaces within the Decentraland network, right? So these different virtual reality stores, these metaverse stores, can then be used to interact with actual people, or sell and trade actual goods or NFTs or whatever you want to be kind of marketing. You can use that within the Decentraland network, right? So it wants to work with all of these different corporations or businesses or people or entities, countries, whatever, currencies, to then give them a platform to connect with individuals around the world, right? And so I kind of made this video in which I was just moving around in the network and kind of showing some of the things that you can do within the Decentraland platform. So this is kind of one of the games that they have where you can basically fight with magic and different things, and fight for NFTs that are free but can also become rare if they're, have certain things attached to them, or you can win certain ones that are rarer and eventually may become valuable, right? So this is the whole point of this new reality metaverse, that it's a platform for not only gaming and networking and like social media, but it's also a place for people to engage and for companies to also market and to sell you things. So it's interesting because it's not just, a place where gamers or these people are just sitting there on their computer and not providing any value for any business or any person. So this is why it's such an misunderstood kind of play, and why Decentraland is so volatile, because it's kind of that unknown factor behind it. It could be massive, it could be huge, or it could be nothing, right? These are the kind of questions you have to deal with. Where do you see the value of something like the metaverse in 10 years? And so Decentraland offers a platform for people to interact with, and for businesses that don't already have a virtual reality platform, which many don't, right? This gives them an environment to access that kind of new technology, and then it provides the basis for a lot of these corporations or a lot of these companies to then buy up this land, and kind of then it becomes virtual real estate, and you have the same kind of principles of scarcity, or also people wanting certain real estates or certain addresses or whatever, right? It becomes just a new avenue for businesses and for people to make money, and also to interact with each other, right? So it's just something to be aware of. You have like these Canadian companies spending millions of dollars to buy up this virtual land. You have various banking institutions from around the world doing the same thing, right? And obviously you kind of had this big run up in the fall and in the December of last year, and then now as the overall crypto market starts to go down, or has been going down, Mana's followed suit. But you can still see the level of I should say the amount of the price action that it has, and the ability it has to bounce back so quickly. You can tell that Mana is one of those coins that's a little bit more desirable, or at least a little bit more there's a little bit more volume to both sides than most coins, right? So it's something that can be traded a lot more than others, right? And as you can see, my Mana sweater behind me, which I developed, and you can find on our Etsy page over at SNL Essentials. You can order one of these Mana sweaters, or like a Shiba Inu shirt, or any of these or other crypto themed or artsy and nature themed clothes that help to support this channel, and we love anybody that helps to support us. So always something to be considerate of. But when we're talking about Mana here, like I said, the big levels are the 320 area, and this is to the upside, right? We're going to have some upside resistance here. Like I said, when you look at the overall chart, this is your overall support. These were your overall support levels from previous in the fall. So now these are going to be your resistance levels to the upside. So as this bounces now, you saw it fail at around 310, and now we have a question of, can we bounce? Can we break above 310, and can we move to the upside? And if we do, like when we did here, right, when we broke out above that, where did we go? We went all the way up to almost $5. And if the overall crypto market continues to move higher, we could see Decentraland, double in price very quickly. We could go to $4 or $5 very quickly, and then maybe even back up to $7 like we had at the end of last year, right? But it's always good to be taking profits into these kind of moves. Like if you bought it at $2 a week ago, then you want to be selling some at $3, right? You're up almost 50%, right? You want to be taking profits into these kind of moves, which is why you're seeing it fail at 310, because all these people that are loading up are then taking profits, right? So let's be aware of that. And as this wants to move higher, we want to be loading up if it can break above that 320 level, right? And if it can hold, then we want to be adding to our position. But if it can't, we want to be waiting for this to fall back down towards $2 or that 250 mark, and then we want to be slowly adding to kind of anticipate the next upward move, right? And these are long-term plays, so you don't want to be investing money you don't have, and you don't want to be putting yourself in a position where you're putting money that you might need in a month or two into something that you might have to be tied up for the next few months, the next 6 months to a year, right? Or the next 3 or 4 years. If you really want to see, like, you know, substantial gains from these plays, you're going to need exposure time, which means at least a few months. The fact that over the fall these things, you know, spiked up 200-300%, well, those are things that you can't always expect to happen. Those are things that are not usually going to happen, right? And that's why crypto is such an amazing space, because you can have these crazy moves to the upside, but you also got to recognize that when that happens, there's a lot of pressure for people to sell, and when these levels can't hold, and when the overall crypto market starts to go down, then you have this downward pressure, and you have these levels that if they don't hold, like 350 didn't hold, and then we had a collapse all the way down to $2, right? So you need to be aware of these levels. And I talk to you, if you watch my video, if you actually like follow what I'm talking about and the levels that I'm breaking down, I explain that 350 was the big level in mana, and if it couldn't hold, then we were going to have a move much lower. So these are the things to be aware of, like I was saying, and just follow the price action and follow the chart and look to understand that if we can't hold, or if we can't, you know, break out above 320, then that's going to start acting as resistance, and we're going to have a move lower. So you don't want to be buying at like $3 or like 310, and then it can't break out, and next thing you know, it's back at 250. You want to be kind of anticipating that, maybe buying at 325 if it is able to break out, and then adding if it's able to break out above that and catching the move to $4 and $5, right? And if it can't hold, or if it can't break 320 and it breaks below back down to 280 and 250, then you want to be adding below 250, right, into those levels for that anticipation of that next bull run, right? So overall, that's my thoughts on mana, and overall, I'm still bullish on it, especially over the long term. But if the overall market remains bearish, then, you know, watch this thing go back down to 250 very quickly, right? So that's why I'm not necessarily buying at this level. I'm buying it at the $2 level, and then I'm buying it if it can break above the 320 level. And if you're holding, you might, you know, if you bought it at $2, I would recommend selling it if it can't break above 320, and then getting back in on the dip, right? That's how you want to trade these names, and be vigilant, and, you know, not necessarily be holding them forever, unless you're kind of averaging in as it's going down, because you just have a few $100 or whatever that you're, you know, okay to have sitting in there, right? So that's my thought process there. Feel free to ask any questions or reach out, and thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully you guys are not down too much, but overall understand that, you know, these are the ways you need to trade. You need to look at these support levels. You need to understand them. You can't just buy at any level and hope that it's going to go up. And you could do that last year in the fall. Certainly, you could have done that almost any time last year in the crypto space. But right now, we need to be more aware of these levels and be more aware of how it's going to react. So, you know, hopefully you guys are doing good, and good luck out there, and hopefully you guys are green. But anyway, have a good day and a happy new year and all those things. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.